your art doesn't matter. No one really cares, anyways. These words may sound harsh for some people, but at the same time, it's really encouraging to think that way. Let me explain. Some years ago, I was talking to a friend and colleague of mine called Alejandro Valdenegro, and we were talking about the things that we wanted to create and do and projects in general. At this time, we were finishing up university and we were seeing where the future will take us. And I started to tell him about the stuff that I was working on, about all the things that I wanted to make or accomplish. For example, I started to tell him that I wanted to make an album, I wanted to get into photography, I wanted to make a YouTube channel, I wanted to work as a composer for some kind of media. But the thing that I've always struggled with is to finish something. I've always been working on these projects little by little, adding some details or taking away some stuff that I didn't really like, and just adding up more and more towards this goal that I can't reach because I've made it myself unreachable. And when a lot of people ask me if they can hear my music, for example, I always tell them, yeah, here's a demo of it, even though that demo can be the last product or the last revision.
For example, here's a folder that contains all the audio work and songs and instrumentals that I've done in the last 4, 5, or 6 years. It has 287 elements. I want to kill myself.
So I told Alejandro all of these problems or just things that I was thinking about, and he just simply said, you know, all of these doesn't really matter. No one really cares anyways. And I was like, you're right. Also, this guy isn't an asshole at all, so I knew that this advice or this comment wasn't coming from a place of hate or just being rude about what I was making. He then proceeds to talk about how liberating it is to think this way, because if no one cares about what you're doing, you can do it for yourself. You can work on your craft just because you enjoy it, because the thing that you want to make is something that you want to listen to, and it doesn't exist until you make it. Then, of course, the perfectionist in me wants to make it as perfect as I can, as perfect as it can be, but there's no such thing. And of course, I also think that if I'm gonna make this for myself, then I wanna make it perfect, because if I listen to it over and over again, I know the flaws, I know the imperfections that it has. I know that something wasn't really in tune or wasn't really quantized, or I didn't perform as perfect as I could. But there comes a time in which life happens. As you grow older, stuff happens. For example, I don't know, you lose a job, you lose a friendship, you lose someone. And all of these little things that you're overthinking about don't really matter. If I EQ'd something a little bit harsh, doesn't matter. My guitar was a little bit out of tune, bad luck. The percussion wasn't perfectly quantized. Who cares? All of these details you're overthinking don't really matter in the long run, in the grand scheme of things. What I think is important is that art needs to be shared. There are a lot of quotes that help me get out of my head when I'm overthinking something. Of course, what my friend said, nothing matters, no one cares. The other quote that I really like is by Leonardo da Vinci, and he says, art is never finished, only abandoned. Meaning that every piece of artistic work can be worked on for days, weeks, months, years, decades even. But at some point, you just have to let go of control. You have to give in, just like one of my favorite quotes from one of my favorite TV shows, Mr. Robot. It only works if you let go too. When it comes to making music, I've always held myself to such a high standard that I can't even reach it. And of course, I get frustrated by it and even jealous of people that actually make it or accomplish things that I also wanted to accomplish. But they have done something that I haven't. They finished it. They let go of control. They shared their art with people and the world. And the last quote that I'm gonna quote is by Christopher McCandless, which actually talks about this last thing that I was saying. Happiness is only real when shared. Art is created to express something, to make sense of something in our lives that we cannot express otherwise. It resonates with people. You make something artistical because at some point in your life, someone made something that actually connected with you. It made you feel something so visceral that you wanted to take part in this creation. in the world of making something from scratch. This could have been a poem, a painting, a piece of music, a video game, a movie, anything. So, when you make art, it will move some people. For example, Alejandro gave me that suggestion like 3 or 4 years ago, around 2022. And now, 3 years later, I'm still thinking about what he said, even though he probably didn't think that it would have such an impact on me. So, of course, everything you do can have a profound impact on someone else, even if you didn't think it would. And for example, just that phrase made me do this YouTube channel, made me let go of control of my music and just upload it, just like not give such a high importance that it makes your art stagnant. And of course, art is important. Your art is important, but we don't have to hold it at such a high importance level that we cannot let go of this and just release it to the world. Just take as an example the art that you like. You may like an album or an artist so much that it makes you wanna do that also. It makes you wanna pick up a guitar, it makes you wanna pick up a brush, anything. And how exciting it is to take part in this world of creation. And eventually, your art may inspire a lot of people too. Just think about that. I started to play guitar when I was like 11 or 12, just because I stumbled upon a band that I really enjoyed and I started to learn guitar because of them. Now, 14 years later, I'm still doing music and I studied music in university and I made creating stuff my whole life. Just think about the impact that your work can have on people. It's just like a domino effect. What you make will inspire someone, and that someone will inspire someone else. So, yeah, that's about it. I don't think it would be fair to give you all of these tips and ways of thinking if I didn't apply them myself. So, here's the first piece of music that I've released. It's on all streaming platforms here on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, whatever. And you can listen to it right now. This piece of music was made in 2018 when I was in my first year of university, and it took me 7 years to publish it. And even though I finally uploaded it now, it could have been released like 7 years ago. Because this song, I made it in like 2 takes and it's been done and in my hard drive for 7 years. But I finally pulled the trigger. So there you go. Now it's your turn. It's your turn to share your art. I want to thank everyone who made this video possible, from my mom, my friends, my girlfriend, and everyone in between. I think one of the most important things when making art or anything in general is to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, how can you expect anyone else to do it for you? You gotta believe in what you create and what you're capable of. And even if the art you're making doesn't really blow up the way you want it to or doesn't reach the amount of people you want it to, it doesn't matter. At least you've done it. You already took one of the most important and difficult steps to make. You started. Now you gotta continue. Keep making art.